Have you ever heard a cry so desperate, so broken, that it pierced the noise of the world and begged for mercy? This is the story of a starving dog, left to suffer alone, whose voice was almost silenced forever until one stranger decided to stop. So stay with me until the very end. And do not forget to like this video, subscribe for more emotional stories, and tell us in the comments where in the world you are watching from. It was a cold evening on the edge of a forgotten town. The streets were empty, shops were closed, and the rain tapped against rusted rooftops. In the shadows of an abandoned alley, a German shepherd lay curled up against a dumpster. His ribs showed through his thin, dirty fur, his eyes hollow, his breath shallow. Days without food had stolen his strength, but not his will. With the little energy left, he raised his head and let out a faint, heartbreaking cry, a sound so weak, yet filled with such longing, that anyone who heard it would know. This was not just a dog barking, this was a soul begging for life. People passed the alley, umbrellas shielding them, headphones in their ears. They glanced, frowned, and walked away. No one wanted to see, no one wanted to stop. Each time footsteps faded, the dog's hope dimmed a little more. His cries grew softer, his body colder, and then something changed. A young woman on her way home paused. She heard it, that faint cry, almost drowned by the rain. She turned, searching, following the sound until her eyes fell upon the broken creature lying in the shadows. Her heart froze. The sight was unbearable. She dropped her umbrella, rushing forward, kneeling in the mud beside him. The dog lifted his head, eyes glazed, too weak to even move. But when her hand touched his fur, he let out a whimper, not of fear, but of relief, as if he knew, finally, someone had come. The woman scooped him up, his fragile body trembling against her chest. Rain soaked her clothes, but she did not care. She ran through the streets, clutching him tightly, whispering, "You are safe now. I have you." At the veterinary clinic, the doctor shook his head. He is dangerously malnourished. His organs are shutting down. If you had found him even a few hours later, it might have been too late. The woman's eyes filled with tears, but she refused to let go of his paw. "Do everything. Please, just do everything you can." Days turned into nights filled with uncertainty. The dog was fed through tubes, wrapped in blankets, his body fighting against collapse. The woman visited every day, speaking softly to him, her voice giving him strength when medicine could not. And slowly, miraculously, his eyes grew brighter, his tail moved ever so slightly, until one morning, against all odds, he stood on his legs again, wobbly, fragile, but alive. She named him Chance, because that was what he had been given. A second chance at life. Chance followed her everywhere, his loyalty unshakable, his gratitude visible in every wag of his tail, every look in his eyes. He had been abandoned, ignored, left to die, but one stranger's decision to stop had changed everything. But fate was not done with their story. Months later, the woman was walking with Chance when a man approached, holding out his hand to pet the dog. Chance froze, growled softly, his body stiff with fear. The man stepped back, uneasy, and in that moment, the woman realized this dog remembered every face that had passed him by an alley, every shadow that chose not to stop. He had not forgotten, but he had forgiven just enough to live again. Chance's story spread across the community. People who once ignored strays now stopped to feed them. Shelters received more donations than ever before, and children learned that one simple act of kindness could change an entire life. And that, my friends, is the story of Chance, the starving dog who cried for help until one stranger decided to stop. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who loves animals. Subscribe for more emotional true stories, and tell us in the comments, do you believe a single decision can change not just one life, but an entire community? Because sometimes the difference between life and death is not a miracle. It is simply whether or not we choose to stop.